Good morning, Ann. How are you?
Ann.
Hello, Ann.
Hola.
Hola. How are you?
Fine, thanks. How are you? You sound great, Jillian.
Thank you. I'm doing really well. I thank you for asking. The chemo is tomorrow. I probably will have a rough weekend, but then everything is good, and I have my organ scan next week to make sure it hasn't spread. I'll tell you what, I'm doing pretty darn good, and I'm grateful every day I wake up. So thank you for asking.
Well, your Twitter feed is very inspirational, and I thank you for that.
And thank you so much for saying that. I always say, there was a girl on there today going, I'm freaked out, I have Taxol. I said, you're going to be fine. Of course, I turned to John and go, Taxol's a bitch, but good luck with that. But I tweet out there the positive vibes. Anyway, thanks for joining us today.
So where do you want to start, Ann? Jussie Smollett, Michael Avenatti, the Mueller report.
This is a really big news week, or as that guy on CNN, what's his name, Stelter. I love how the people on CNN, that they have this idea that, well, we have smart people, but if we put ugly people on TV, everyone will think they're smart.
Ouch.
When in fact, there actually are a lot of attractive people who are smart, and there are unattractive people who are dumb. Tune into CNN. But the funny thing about Stelter is that's where you realize the head of the network, Jeff Zucker, has just decided, I'm going to put people on air who look like me.
Actually, you know what? They do rather look alike. But, I will say, it's everyone's job to report what's happening, but we don't know we know they didn't say exonerated, but they certainly said no collusion, and there was no, he didn't break the law. That's what I want to hear. I mean, that's important to me.
I was still on the Smollett thing, because Stelter tweeted yesterday in response to the dropping of all charges. We may never know what happened that night.
Case is such a mess.
Well, on that point, Ann, I want to play some sound for you from the Today Show today, where Jussie Smollett's attorney was on, and she asked him about the Nigerians, because he initially said it was two white guys that attacked him that were wearing MAGA hats, and then we now know it was two Nigerians that he allegedly paid off. She said he was consistent the whole time because we think they were in whiteface.
He saw one through a ski mask. Again, he could not see their body. Everything was covered, and he had a full ski mask on except the area around the eyes. He did tell police that from what he saw, he thought it was pale skin or white or pale skin was, I think, what he said. And that was and that's why he initially did have a hard time.
Why did he say that? He could have said, I don't know.
He could have, but this, again, he's being truthful.
But if it's the Osundairo brothers, what are the chances that that's the case, that he saw somebody with light skin?
Well, I think obviously you can disguise that. You could put makeup on. There is actually, interestingly enough, a video. I think police did minimal investigation in this case. It took me all of 5 minutes to Google. I was looking up the brothers, and one of the first videos that showed up actually was one of the brothers in whiteface doing a Joker monologue with white makeup on. And so it's not implausible.
Wow.
What does that even mean?
Wow, those guys. Smollett should run for governor of Virginia, where they don't mind this black-faced, white-faced business. No, I love how they're talking about it like Stelter did. We may never know what happened that night. No, there's video of these two guys who worked on Empire with Jussie Smollett, people he knew. They have a check from him. They have cash from him. They're ready to testify against him. They're on video in the store, and the store owner, I'm not sure if she picks them out of a lineup, but there's video of them buying the rope for the noose, the red hats. The whole story was so preposterous to begin with. I love the idea that these loud MAGA hat wearing white guys in Chicago are such obsessive fans of Empire that even in the middle of a polar vortex, they could hey, there's that guy from Empire. They don't watch Empire. But anyway, that was just the beginning of the absurdity. And then, of course, the evidence piled up, and we do know what happened that night. And we know what happened.
Well, talk to me about the state attorney, because she came out and said that the reason that all the evidence was sealed was because she accidentally checked the wrong box on the form.
And she's also said today that She didn't technically recuse herself. It was just, a colloquialism she used. And who put her in office? George Soros. This was, a DA election, and George Soros donated nearly $500,000 to her campaign. I mean, this is how Soros keeps positioning these crazy DAs and often AGs throughout the country, state after state, because these are really, people who aren't in politics don't realize, I suspect, that not that much money is typically spent on a local election. $500,000 for a little DA race is a lot of money. Soros put her in that position, and she got called by a Michelle Obama aide when Jussie was first arrested, or when suspicion was turning on him around that time. A Michelle Obama aide saying, "Oh, I'm friends with Jussie's family. Could you do something about this?" And now those texts are coming out. I mean, this is an investigation not only into to Jussie himself by the feds, but of the, quote, system of justice in Chicago here. This is, incidentally, civil rights, the phrase gets thrown around a lot, the rights of the disabled, the rights of women, the rights of gays. No, the reason we have civil rights laws was that a long time ago, black people couldn't get fair justice in the South, and so the feds had to ride in and say, no, we can't trust you to administer justice fairly. This is what the federal government is going to do now. It was explicitly for African Americans who were not being treated fairly under a rule of law, or, as Joe Biden would say, an English jurisprudential system.
All right. Well, Ann, we got to run, but thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Yes, thanks so much.
To you.
Great to talk to you, too.
And don't forget to follow Ann on Twitter at Ann Coulter, and, of course, read her columns online at anncoulter.com. It's 9:44.